there's a lot of discussion already about the 2024 election. Juan Williams, who's a contributor over at Fox News, he's one of the few on the Democratic side in that cable news network, has decided to pen an op-ed for Fox News's website to warn about the Republican Party and its strategy to steal the 2024 election. Now, I think this is fascinating. Clearly, we've discussed all the various ways in which Republican lawmakers in various red states have taken measures to suppress the votes of certain demographics that are likely to vote for Democratic candidates. Now, in this piece, he says, How to Get Away with Murder was a recent TV crime show. As of 2024, or as the 2024 race approaches, the Trump GOP's current weekly drama is titled, How to Get Away with Murdering Democracy. Now, he provides the various steps that he believes the Republican Party will take, starting with step 1, don't mention January 6th, 2021. If it comes up, say Trump's violent radicals did not stop certification of President Biden's win over Trump. It was just like a tourist visit. Next, prevent a bipartisan independent commission from looking into the violent Republican riot, which, by the way, they've already done. Republican lawmakers have blocked that effort, and Joe Manchin, a Democrat in the Senate, is still pretending to believe that Republicans could work with him in bipartisan legislation. Just wanted to add that little part in there. Then step 2, Juan Williams writes, change election laws in states with GOP majority legislatures. New laws in Georgia, for example, take power away from independent election boards and the Secretary of State to certify election results. And then finally, step 3, suppress the votes of people who are likely to back Republicans. Who are unlikely, my bad. Suppress the votes of people who are unlikely to back Republicans, young people, college educated, whites, poor people, union members, working women, blacks, Latinos, and Asians. Republicans are taking this last step nationwide by having state legislatures weaken voting rights laws. Generally, GOP-led state legislatures are curtailing early voting and limiting mail and drive-up voting. They're also eliminating or decreasing the use of drop boxes.
So this is a very, very legitimate warning, and anyone who's not taking it seriously is not understanding what's happening in this country. The Republicans are definitely beginning to put democracy in a vice grip. And so there's no question, and we just did a story about how Donald Trump asked the Justice Department to intervene to basically overturn the election. He asked Mike Pence to overturn the election. They had a 2-hour conversation in the Oval Office with Mike Flynn about declaring martial law to overturn the election results. So, and Donald Trump is the undisputed leader of the Republican Party. So he's very clear that he does not care about democracy. He prefers power to democracy. Now, there's polls out showing that overwhelming majority of Republicans agree with Donald Trump's actions, of course, but now 28% saying maybe it's time to resort to violence. 28% of Republicans in the country. That's tens of millions of people, okay? And then they go and pass these laws all across the country saying, well, why don't we just not let Democrats vote? And I think there's an old Stalin quote, I don't know if it's apocryphal or not, about it doesn't really matter who votes, it matters who counts the votes. And that's exactly what the Republicans are doing now in all these different states. Meanwhile, as Rome is burning, almost quite literally, because we're the new Rome, Manchin and Sinema are fiddling. And they're playing the fiddle while they say, oh, maybe we should do a bipartisanship with these Republicans who are looking to burn down democracy.
Right.
Manchin says that they're gonna help us pass voting rights legislation.
By the way, Manchin has already said that not only is he against the For the People Act, the more robust version of election reform, he's completely against the watered down version that Joe Manchin has provided. Because he's not in favor of election reform. Are you kidding me? The Republican Party loves this system.
No, it's actually amazing because Joe Manchin says, I'm gonna get the Republicans to work with us. The leader of the Republicans, Mitch McConnell in the Senate, says, no, we're not. We're never gonna vote for that bill under any circumstance. And Joe Manchin goes, oh, sure they are. And Joe Biden goes, oh, I'm gonna let Joe Manchin work for a while to see if he can get 10 Republicans to vote against their own legislation in the states to allow everyone to vote. No, nobody's that stupid. Nobody's that stupid. So you now have your answer as to whether it's stupid or corrupt. And don't let Joe Biden hide behind Joe Manchin. Why isn't he regulating? Why hasn't he said one thing about, hey, Joe Manchin, are you nuts? You really think you're gonna get 10 Republican senators who would love to limit voting to expand voting? No, nobody's that dumb. And so Manchin and Biden are both playing dumb. And by the way, how much is the press holding Biden accountable for that? Zero.
Well, I think it's also worth mentioning that there is a Senate majority leader, right? And maybe I'm missing it. I just remember when Mitch McConnell was the Senate majority leader, and he was making headlines every single day with all of his tactics and all of his strategies and all the different ways in which he was ensuring that he was accumulating power on behalf of corporate interests and the Republican Party. What is Chuck Schumer up to?
Well, look,
is he whipping votes?
No, look, forget. Look, Chuck Schumer's historically weak. I mean, unbelievably weak. But to be fair to Chuck Schumer in this term, look, as long as people do the right thing, bygones be bygones instantly, if politicians are voting on bills that are gonna make a difference in people's lives. So Chuck Schumer panicked this term, thought AOC might be running against him in New York for the Senate seat. So he became the world's biggest progressive, at least rhetorically, right?
Definitely rhetorically.
No, but by the way, he went to the left of Bernie Sanders and the Just Democrats and said, hey, the $15 minimum wage that you guys dropped for no reason at all, I'll put it in every bill so that it can pass. And none of the progressives picked it up. And they all let him slide. And he probably was shocked. He's like, oh, I guess they don't want it. So after he made that promise publicly, since no one held him accountable, he went back to being conservative and weak and doing all the things that he's doing. Because he's like, oh, probably AOC won't run and no progressive ever challenges me. So I'll just go back to doing what my donors want. That's what's happening right now. So all of this is Juan Williams is 100% right. I don't know if his dates on Fox News are numbered because that is too clear and too obvious.
Yes.
In terms of that is their actual strategy. So thank you, Juan, for speaking truth to power, even at a place that you work at. But the most important part is, are the Democrats ever going to do anything about it? And at this point, the answer appears to be no, and a resounding no. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.